She embraced it. She said, I will take this experience, I will use it to help others. And because of her senior life journey she started, we now are reaching people in 73 countries. Because of my Well, what? Whose phone's ringing? Better be important. Oh, they want to sell you life or health insurance. That's all my phone is. By the point we get to those last days, and we've gone through all the stages of Alzheimer's, 2/3 of the brain has left the body. It's not that 2/3 of the brain doesn't work. 2/3 of the brain is gone, like Elvis leaving the building. Brain. What goes with that 2/3 of the brain? Memory? What else? Speech? What else? Yeah?
Everything on the beat.
Yeah. There. But also education, funny stories, who you are, things we used to do, and then we get mad because they can't remember. No, we don't. So, Dr. Powell of University of Alabama, Tuscaloosa, did a study followed two men who were as near the same as he could get these two men to be. They were the exact same age, born on the same day in the same part of the world. They had the same education, level of education. They made about the same income. As close as he could get, these two men were alike. One had Alzheimer's and died of Alzheimer's. The other one did not. He did autopsies on them at their death. Obviously, he did not do autopsies on them. And we are thankful for that. Oh, mercy. And I want to show you, this is the brain, a slice of the brain of the man who did not have Alzheimer's. Tell me what you see in the picture. Just yell it out. Anything that catches your eye. The color is pink.
Smooth.
Looks like a crosswalk.
That little wheat ball.
Say, more contrast with white. Nancy, what did you say?
Looks like a croissant.
A croissant. I like how she says it. To me, it looks like cauliflower. It looks like a slice of cauliflower. That is the healthy brain. Blood has recently gone through it. It's pink. It's healthy. You'll notice it feels the slide almost edge to edge, doesn't it? Now, the other gentleman died of advanced Alzheimer's. This slide I'm going to show you is the exact same slice of the brain. Exactly the same. By the way, I had to promise my firstborn to get permission to use his pictures, but yeah, I'm not kidding. What do you see? What do you not see? It's hard. It's not pink. It looks shriveled up. Can you believe that that part's diseased?
Yes.
Are you going to be angry at this person because they can't wear pants? Thank you. Mark asked me to address this specific subject, where Mark is. I'm so proud of myself for writing it down and remembering. What do we do when our loved ones are in denial about their dementia? Say somebody answer that. Love them anyway. Amen, sister.
We argue with them.
Les, we can argue with them.
She's mine.
You're going to keep her, aren't you? We're going to love them anyway, and we ain't going to argue with them. I just want to know, how often in your world has it worked for you to try to convince somebody of something? I mean, or have you ever been really good at it? One of my books, here's a commercial for you. This segment of today's show is brought to you by If My Body is a Temple, Why Am I Eating Donuts? That's one of my books. We're going to do that one more time, and you're going to respond appropriately. One of my books is called If My Body is a Temple, Why Am I Eating Donuts? Don't y'all think that's fun?
Yes, that's a very
I tell you what, when I have to push you, it just don't work. It is a 90-day devotion of my story of losing 100 pounds and the miracle that took place in my life to bring that about. Now, in case you haven't noticed, don't be looking at me like this, Brenda. I saw you. medication. What, you think I need to quit eating so much? I know that it's not good for my body. I know I'm hurting my ankles and my knees, but who do you think you are trying to get me to change? How well is that conversation going to go with me, Brenda?
I like donuts too.
But you bring me to the exact thing I was going to do. You can sit down and you can explain to me 79 reasons why Carol needs to lose 45 more pounds. I might be fudging that number a little bit. And it's not going to make me go, I think I'll just have cauliflower instead of M&Ms. No, it's just going to make me mad at Brenda.
And make you hungry for that.
And make me hungry. So if you think you're going to sit down in front of someone with dementia and go, okay, now listen, Daddy, you've got dementia. The doctor said you got Alzheimer's. We're just going to deal with it. You're going to get over it, okay? Just whatever. I'm just tired of it, okay, Daddy? And Daddy's going to go, I don't have dementia. I can remember exactly what high school I went to and where I sat in the third grade and who sat in front of me behind me. You don't know that. Dang straight, I don't know that. Don't care. Or we cannot do that. If our loved one is my mama, hi, my name is Vera, I have Alzheimer's, then embrace it. Joke about it. Mama, you got Alzheimer's, you don't remember it. Mama would just laugh, and she would go, I got Alzheimer's, what's your excuse? Mama made it fun. Mama was the unusual one and always the one. But if they're not that, then we don't push it in their face. But we do what, Dorothy? Love them anyway. We learn how to be good caregivers. We make that work for them. We are put on this planet to be hands and feet, salt and light, not to be argumentative and try to get our way and make it right. It's Alzheimer's. You ain't going to make it right. It's not going to happen. So, mark that off your list. I got that one done.
Thank you.
I want to show you a video of my sweet mama. My mama, Lord have mercy, had the funkiest sense of humor. She, in her last days, starting somewhere around February, March, decided to use the word hell quite frequently. At my mama's funeral, I did the eulogy, and I presented the audience, y'all are the audience, they were the congregation, it's different, with a view of my mama's Bible, where you could hold Acts, and you could hold Revelation, and you could hold Ephesians, because the Bible was falling apart. But Mama's favorite words were hell and S-H. Y'all can spell it. She used them very liberally and thought it was hilarious when she did it. So I thought it was funny too. Do you want a cookie? Oh yeah, I want a cookie. What the are you doing? That's the SH word. That was Mama. The last sentence, the last full sentence my mama said to me was, get your ass over here right now. That is the truth. That is the truth. The day I had signed her up for hospice, I turned away from the table and she's in her lazy boy, because Mama's so lazy boys. Wasn't a lazy boy, but we didn't tell her that. Get your ass over here right now. Okay, Mom, that's Mom. So Mama had this great sense of humor, and she said things that would just crack me up. I hope you don't find that offensive. If you do, you need to leave before this video shows. But this is my mama in January of this year. And this video makes me laugh most of the times. If it makes me cry, y'all just get over it. If you don't want to hear the S words, better leave.
You just asked me if my name is Carol, and you know, if they asked me what, I would ask. I don't know what you asked me.
Mark, can
All right,
hold
you
on.
asked me if my name was Carol Lynn Frittenberger. Frittenberger. Who or what is a Frittenberger? Well, do you know any of these names that we just named as Frittenbergers? No. Did you know Frittenbergers? No. Did you just make that up? You sure did, Rob. Sure did. My name is not Carolyn Frittenberger. Is your name Vera Jean Frittenberger? No, I'm not Frittenberger. You're not a Frittenberger? No. All right, who is you? Schritzenberger. Schritzenberger. Vera Jean Schritzenberger. Yeah. How do you spell that? Schritzenberger. How do you spell it? Schrittendberger. Pretty good. Richard.
that's hilarious, do you not?
Yeah.
So, y'all hold on a minute. I got my phone straight. Yeah, forget it. Now when I'm having those moments, grief comes over you in weird ways. It's the things that make you cry that you go, what the heck did that make me cry for? Like the baby being baptized last Sunday. And I don't like children. I just don't. I had one. That was enough. I like old people. I always have. That baby being baptized and our pastor walking that baby around, I just cried. I do not know why. Warwick's funeral last night on the CSI made me cry. Ain't that dumb? Grief comes over you in weird ways, so I played that video of my mama. Got videos of my mama praying. I want to tell you this part. You just hold this for me, Judy. You're quite good at it. The right temporal lobe is the one part of the brain that Alzheimer's eats less of than any other part of the brain. Did you know that? Alzheimer's eats all the brain, loves it all, but it doesn't like the taste of the right temporal lobe so much. I don't know why. Now I want you to remember this. The left temporal lobe of your brain is where language is stored, and you lose it. Left, language, lose, start with. Y'all graduated high school, do it again. Left, language, lose, start with L. So you can remember that. So your ability to put words together, make complete sentences, make your thoughts, come from all over your brain, but more so your left temporal lobe, and that part is severely damaged. I need a pedardal. Well, you'd be happy to give me a pedardal if you knew what one was. Language and speaking, getting our thoughts together becomes a problem. And you hear a whole lot of that same word over and over again. They got a word. They're going to say it over and over and over again. And that's because that part of the brain is so damaged. The right temporal lobe is where rhythm is, and it remains, and that starts with good job. So we're going to remember that. So the right temporal lobe. Scriptures tells us we are fearfully and wonderfully made, and my soul knows this very well. I like that verse. Because the right temporal lobe is where prayer is held. It's where poetry is. Music, art, dancing, knitting, crocheting, crafting, painting, whatever it is. I call it the artsy-fartsy part of the brain. So you have that individual who cannot tell you, I love you, my belly hurts, I'm thirsty past the salt, but you ask them to pray. Our most gracious Heavenly Father, we thank you for this day and for your blessings, that they just pray and you're going. And when they get through, they can't tell you, would you please pass the mashed potatoes? Because the prayer's coming from this side of the brain that is not as damaged. Please pass the mashed potatoes is coming from here, which is very damaged. Makes sense to you? Do you remember Mel Tillis?
Yeah.
Stuttered. Did he stutter when he sang? No, because his language was coming from the left temporal lobe, and that's where his problem was. And his music was coming from the right temporal lobe, where he did not have a problem. So with our folks with dementia, if there's something you really want them to know, Mama, today we're going to Walmart. Lands on a different part of her brain because it's music. Mama, today we're going to Walmart. Singing it to Mama. She's more likely to remember. So we do a lot of music with folks with dementia. At my mama's service, it was the only funeral you've probably ever heard of that had party favors. We gave out cookies because Mama loved cookies. And while the cookies were being passed out, in a perfect world, the funeral home employee would have pushed the one little button on the iPad, which he didn't seem to be able to do, to play the song. Put your sweet lips a little closer to the phone. Sing it with me. Let's pretend that we're together all alone. I'll tell the man to turn the jukebox way down low. That's what my mama would do. Low. And you can tell your friends there with you, he'll have to go. My mama would sing that song every single time we sang it, all the way up to her last days. It's in her brain. That part of her brain that she could respond to. So that was supposed to be played by Mr. Jim Reeves, singing it at my mama's funeral, of course, when he pressed the button. He said nothing happened. So I stand there and I wait. I'm going, now, what am I going to do? What am I going to do? What am I going to do? And I walk over and I go, through the glass, you know. If you'll hand me the iPad, I'll do it. Because I'm thinking I'll bring it and hold my microphone. And I wait and wait. Well, he don't even bring me the iPad. So I say to my sister, Sissy, let's sing it. And my sisters and I used to sing gospel music together. So we three harmonized on He'll Have to Go. And when we finished, the iPad started playing He'll Have to Go. Why was the man messing with it then? Somebody explain it to me. I don't know. So with your loved ones, we want to activate that part of their brain. We want to do things they like to do, sing music they like to sing. When I get Alzheimer's, please don't bring rap music to me because I'm going to slap you. But a little bit of Gaither vocal band. Listen to the Gaithers this morning. I had church before I got here. The God on the mountains, the God in the valley. Yeah. The God on the mountain is still God in the valley. That was me. I've been kind of in the valley lately. Sing that to me. Don't bring me no bluegrass either. That ain't going to work for Carol. I tried it. I don't like it. So bring to them the music they like. What am I doing on time? 3 minutes. If when you signed up, somewhere I've got, Judy, quit stealing my stuff. When you signed up, you gave the folks your email address. It is on this form. I want you to verify your email address with us up here. If your email address is not on there, please put it. And we are going to add you to our newsletter that comes out once a week. You'll get an email saying that we have added you, and if you want it, you accept it. If you don't want it, don't accept it, but it's going to hurt my feelings. No, I'm not going to know you didn't accept it. So you will have to get that. And it comes out with a link to either our Facebook show, which you can join me Monday through Thursday mornings at 8:15 for live. Let's Talk Dementia live on Facebook. It's a 15-minute show, and we are in 4 countries, and we've only been doing it since January. And it might be a link to one of those shows. It might be a link to a podcast that's in 73 countries. It might be a blog. It's just whatever kind of mood I'm in when I make the newsletter. But you can check it out, and it has all kinds of good information there. So I have for you today, because Mr. Howell tells me I'm about out of time, the books that I have written, and the proceeds from our books, as well as we have a donation box, any donations you might feel so inclined to make, all go to our not-for-profit Senior Life Journeys, where we travel the Southeast bringing dementia education. And I want to show those to you. Let's Talk Dementia's Amazon #1 bestseller. It's hit #1 about 10 times. It's easy to read. It's written with the humor that I have brought to you today. There are smiles every so often. Judy, hold the book. You are good at this. All right. Can you get me hooked on that for food now? Mama, when I need you, I'll tell you, okay? See if I got any M&Ms in my pocket. Okay, so there are smiles every so often, because if you don't smile and laugh in life, top of your head's going to spin off, flames are going to spew out, and you ain't going to look so good. So you got to laugh. Laughter doeth good like a medicine. Smile number 11 is a true story about my aunt's 3rd husband. She's had so many I can't keep track of. My mama was married 3 times. I told them this at the funeral. And I loved it when Mama killed off all 3 of them, just so y'all know. Man wanted to be number 4, and I went, no, you really don't. You're a track record. But he'd say, Mama, tell him your name. My name's Vera Jean Carpenter, Pyatt Holder, Feaster Holder. She had dementia. They thought she was making it up. It was true. Never monogrammed anything for Mama. That wouldn't have worked. But this is a true story. Mr. William Root raised and sold pigs. However, pig sales were slow. Now, his name was William Root. And he pondered this issue. He felt he needed to advertise, but he was stunned at the effectiveness of his new sign. It read, pigs for sale, Will Root. That's the truth. $15 credit card, gold coins, nice necklaces. We'll trade for about anything. Mom is confused, and so am I. Is a brief look at some of the different types of dementia. There's a tracking system in the back where you can keep track of the symptoms of bathing, eating, ambulating, dressing, toileting that you're seeing. All right, get it right this time, congregation. If my body is a temple, why am I eating donuts? That is such a good title, isn't it? 90-day devotional. I gave it to our pastor. He never commented. Guess he don't have my sense of humor. It is my take on what the scriptures say. I don't know what you think about what the scripture says. I only know what I think, and that's what I wrote. This is my newest book. It's my first time showing it to a group. We just got it 2 weeks ago. That's my mom's hands. I love that. My mama sold jewelry after she sold Lazy Boys, and I would have inherited something if Mom had never worked at that dang jewelry store. My necklace today is one of my mama's pieces. It was given to her for Christmas. And husband number 3 bought it. And I said, David, you want me to take it home and hide it? He goes, oh, honey, I'll put it under the dust cloth. She'll never find it there. That's the truth. Mama, sweet mama's hands. I love that picture. This is the book I wrote for folks with dementia, not for the caregiver. It is a 30-day devotional. It opens this way. And at the top is the picture. Then there's a scripture that relates to the picture. Then there are questions that relate to the scripture that relate to the picture. So, let's find one that you might can see better. Oh, hold this for me, Judy. Oh, Judy, you doing? No, not that one. I know which ones I want, which one I want. I can just find it real quick. Oh, go back to that one for me. What do you see?
Chicken.
Cauliflower. Brenda, put your glasses on, girlfriend. Food. Kind of look like a turkey. Yes, it does. The scripture is, the kingdom of heaven is like a king who prepared a wedding banquet for his son. He sent his servants to those who had been invited to the banquet and told them to come. That's from Matthew. So then the question that the person with dementia can read and answer themselves, or the caregiver can read to the person. In this picture, we see food that looks very appetizing. We are told heaven is like a wonderful wedding party with lots of food and happy times together. M&Ms. Yeah. We are invited to participate in God's banquet. Which of the foods in the picture make you hungry? You can't see properly from there, but there are other foods around it. Tell me of a favorite meal you enjoy eating with friends and family. So now we've taken them back to a point in their life that they remember, and we can have a conversation with them. And it can be of a spiritual nature, right? 30-day devotional. All these books do support our ministry. Judy, quit stealing my junk. I do want to give a couple little things away. Dorothy, that's for you. These are little prayer sachets that Miss Suzette here at Trinity United Methodist have made for me. And I give these out to folks when I speak. And they're to remind you that there's a God up there who answers prayer. Just pray and talk to him about it. And that's to remind you to pray. They're purple, the color of Alzheimer's, which is the sticker you have. If you're looking for a church that's going to support you, please visit Trinity United Methodist. I had the privilege of preaching here. Mama said, you ain't a preacher. I said, shh, church ain't figured that out yet. Wonderful, loving, caring congregation. They want you here. You are wanted. You are loved. You are needed. You're appreciated. Come to Trinity. Let them show you what that feels like. I am available to answer questions now until Mark tells me I'm not supposed to do it anymore because he's going to hand out door prizes. And I know y'all want that more than you want to talk to me, but whatever. I will be here until no one is left asking me questions privately. We'll be selling our books, and we do take credit card. So, questions? How much are the books? It really used to be simple. It's not now. This one's 12. We get a calculator. This one's 15 because it's bigger. This one's 10 because it's smaller. And this one's 15 because it's #1 on Amazon. Comes to, what's it come to? $52 for all of them. Yeah. Questions?
Can you
Oh, you can self-diagnose everything, baby girl. Can you self-diagnose it correctly? Very potentially, but still not what you want to do, because there are markers in the blood for other things that you might not know about that might be fixable that you need to go get fixed, so don't do that. I saw a hand. Yes, Nancy?
I have a friend who's in dementia. It's pretty severe now. And I want to support her. I want to help her. Okay. What I've done so far is to try to allow her to vent to me.
Yes.
So she doesn't vent that anger on her own family. She's very angry with her family. Very angry. They took her car away. You know, she's housebound. She's got having fever. And I try to do what I can do to help her. Okay? But to be honest about it, it makes me sad.
Well, yeah.
Because she's the smartest person I've ever known in my whole life. And she cannot remember something she said in one telephone conversation.
No,
She'll ask you the same question 3 times.
that's on a good day.
Yeah, maybe a good day. But what can I do? Because do I show her the sadness? Because I usually try to hide it.
Yeah, I'm not. I don't know that I would, Nancy. You always want to bring to your folks with dementia Disneyland. It's the teacup ride. Da da da, such a world of laughter, a world. You know, that's just not what it is. But they've got so much going on in their mind. They were the first ones that knew they had a problem. It was not their loved one. They knew within themselves things weren't right. They've been dealing with this. They may get to a point that they don't recognize what the problem is, but they still know things aren't just right. Imagine walking around not realizing what day it was, who you were, who is this person who's in the bed next to you because you don't remember them. And you look in the mirror and the person you see doesn't look like you because you think you're 18 now. And who is that old woman in the mirror? I don't know her. And you're telling me what to do and you're taking my clothes off with me and putting me in the shower. I'm not a happy person. So they've got so much that they're dealing with that you want to always bring joy. I would approach her sparking that lobe. Find out what kind of music she likes. Find out if there's a certain genre of literature that she likes. If she's a highly educated woman, there's an author she likes. Read to her. She's not going to remember squat diddly about what you read. You can read the same chapter over and over again. It and Alzheimer's wonderful. You can tell them the same joke over and over again. They'll laugh every time. Y'all got to laugh about that. That's funny. Bring to her things that you know will interest her. And experiment with other things and see how she responds. If she doesn't respond positively, don't do that again. But manipulative type things. Play-Doh. Play-Doh is wonderful. Play-Doh with folks with dementia is wonderful. We would roll the Play-Doh out, and my mama said, this is like cutting out a dress, because my mama sewed. She got into it. So, yeah, good question. Yes, I saw a little hand starting to come up. Mary Sue? Oh, I know you don't. Yes. Mary Sue, nobody likes daylight saving time. We all want it to stay like it is right now. Why they mess with us is just the government's out to get us, y'all. Sundowning is when the sun goes down, when the sun starts to set. It has a physical effect on everyone's brain, everyone's. When we have dementia, it causes the dementia to be amplified. We become people who are maybe not necessarily angry during the day to be totally PO'd at you during sundowning. They want to kill somebody. They don't want to do whatever you want them to do. You can just forget it. And they're going to wander around. They're going to try to leave the house when they don't do it during. I mean, everything you can think of can happen with sundowning. But what we know, too, is sundowning starts several hours before the sun goes down. So somewhere around 3 o'clock, we start seeing a little increase in behaviors. Not bad. We can handle it. It's been like this before. But by 4 o'clock, it's a little bit more. And by the time 6 o'clock comes... So, Nancy, when you go to visit your friend, don't go visit during sundowning hours. We don't go visit folks with dementia except between breakfast and lunch and between lunch and nap time. After nap time, we're going to start seeing more sundowning. Yes. They don't. It's just, well, we know that the effect that is on the brain for those who do not have dementia is there, that lunar effect, or whatever. I don't know. Just one second. Somebody over here had their hand up. Yeah, Cheryl in a pretty shirt.
Okay, when it's sundowning, when it's getting dark, Mother starts about
a baby.
Yeah, so mother's going back in time. We lose our memories in the reverse order in which we gain them. So we cannot remember yesterday. We can't remember 20 minutes ago what we had for lunch. We can't remember yesterday. But we start going further back in time, we start picking up memories. You gain memories from a long time ago forward. You lose them from now backwards. So someone with dementia, one way that you can help calm them is to talk to them about mama. Unless they were adopted. Be aware of what their childhood was like. Or if mama was in jail, don't talk to them about mama. I'll tell you, I watched NCIS, this happens. So talking about a baby is very real to them. Another thing you can do with someone with dementia that will take them back is to stroke their face if they're agitated, because mama held them one day and she stroked them and told them they were the sweetest, most precious thing that she'd ever seen in her whole life. It takes us back. It's a very old, ingrained memory in our brain, and it brings calm. Doesn't feel so bad, does it, Judy? No, yeah, Judy said, yeah, that's good. That's common. Okay, wait a minute. Somebody here. Yeah, Sally.
My dad had dementia before he was diagnosed with brain cancer.
Oh, my word. So we know he had dementia for some other reason. Then he had brain cancer.
Yeah,
Brain cancer can cause dementia. He was a double whammy.
Yeah. My question is, when I would go and take care of him on the weekends, there was such an awkward situation. He thought his wife, my stepmother, was his mother.
Yes.
Mother, tell me all about
Yes.
your trips. Tell me
Right.
all about your trips. And then, of course, my stepmother would say, I'm not your mother.
I ain't your mama.
I'm your wife. She's a nurse. She was very caring. No, I don't want to. But then he would say, I'm sleeping with my mother. What is wrong with me?
Yeah.
How do you, that just.
So, first of all, you don't correct him.
Okay.
As we said earlier, none of us like to be corrected. Yes? Especially when we have dementia, it's a waste of time. So I would, yeah, I'm your mama. Why am I sleeping with you? Well, if it's going to bother him that he's sleeping with his mama, then don't sleep with him. It's a very simple thing to because see, we go back in time, he's forgotten he's married.
Right.
And especially a sibling will look like mama, or a sibling will look like daddy, because they probably do. It makes sense. You go with the story. And if she needs to put a bed beside him or another room, or probably not another room because she's got to keep an eye on him, but
Can I double down and ask another quick question?
I don't even have to ask this lady over here. She had her hand up. No, go ahead, Sally.
My grandmother, my maternal grandmother, and my mother died of senile dementia. Should I get tested?
Senile dementia, what is that?
Old age.
No, they didn't. There is no such thing as old age dementia.
Really?
Is there such thing as old age cancer? There's a reason for the cancer. There's a reason for it. People used to call it senility. Senility was interchangeable with dementia. They did not die from that. They died from a disease that brought about dementia. So what was your question? I forgot. Dementia runs in my family. I don't remember, Jack.
Genetic testing.
Genetic testing, there's really not good genetic testing available for Alzheimer's. Do you want to know if you've got it?
Yes. I did.
Do you? I do not.
I don't want to live with my mother lived. I don't want to live with my grandmother.
How are you going to fix that? I don't want to know that. I don't want my insurance company to know that. You know. So what is the genetic component with Alzheimer's? There are two kinds of Alzheimer's. Early onset Alzheimer's is that disease which is diagnosed before the age of 65. It is different from the Alzheimer's that is diagnosed after age 65. Two diseases. Early onset Alzheimer's makes late onset Alzheimer's look fun. Late onset Alzheimer's is not fun, but it sure makes it look fun. Early onset Alzheimer's diagnosed before the age of 65 is diagnosed generally in that time in our life when the kids have gone off to college, we finally bought the boat, we've got the beach house, we're in debt up to the... And now we can't remember anything. We can't work. We've lost our job. It happens at the worst time in life. The earliest someone has been diagnosed that I've heard of with early onset Alzheimer's was in their 20s. The movie Still Alice, have you seen it? Rent Still Alice. You can't rent movies anymore. No Blockbuster. What are we going to do with that Blockbuster? Well, y'all need to watch Still Alice. It's a true story of a college professor who began having problems, and she was diagnosed with early onset Alzheimer's. Her children did testing to see if they had any of the components that in the genetic testing a predisposition for early onset. Some of the children got the test results, some of the children did not. Early onset is different from late onset Alzheimer's. Late onset Alzheimer's is diagnosed after 65. Life settled down a little more then. Early onset Alzheimer's lifespan is generally not more than 7 years, sometimes 10, most of the time more like 4 or 5. Late onset Alzheimer's, we see 7 to 12. My mama lived 13, but there have been people who lived 20 years with late onset. And I was really glad mama was not one of them, because the days got tough. Was it Luann? Are you the one with the question?
Yeah, a lot of times people with really any type of dementia can become very aggressive and agitated, just for any reason. How is the best way to try to diffuse that?
Diffuse that. So, well, first of all, realizing one of the reasons folks with dementia get agitated is because they are just not happy. They are very frustrated. They are angry. And you don't understand, and they really wish you would, and they wish that all this noise in their head. If you can just imagine all the time, going on all the time in your head, it never stops. And in the middle of that, Judy's trying to tell you something. And take your clothes off and put you in the shower. Does it sound like the way you want to live? Okay, so let's recognize that first. That will help us. And then we're going to respond to them better. They're going to respond to us better. Distracting them with things that appeal to them, Nancy, as we talked about. Distracting them with M&Ms, with their favorite food. Maybe if you realize that if you just keep a small little table and it sits there with all their favorite snack foods about that time of day when they seem to be the most likely to be agitated, and you know they're going to walk by it, they'll just walk by, and now their mind's on that, so it'll take away some of that proclivity to be so daggone angry. But then realizing that during those times of the day is not when we want to obey them. Realizing during those times of the day is the things that I didn't move, y'all, I just did that. During that time of the day is when you want to present to them things that are calming and relaxing. Maybe putting on the Sound of Music on television because it's something that's familiar from their past. It does get to the point, Luann, with many of our people that we do look towards medications for that. You have to be very careful with that. My mama was, my mama always bought 12 of anything she bought when she went shopping. She was a professional shopper, I believe. So she had Alzheimer's and Parkinson's, so it would just make sense that she would have 2. So Mama got to the point in October where she was hallucinating. There were people in the room. Mama also has had post-polio syndrome and was quarantined in the Biltmore house as a child, by the way. Isn't that neat? So she had Parkinson's, Alzheimer's, and post-polio syndrome. She was hallucinating. Her body hurt. She would cry. I just want to die. Why am I living? No quality of life. And I said, we need to do something. So we were referred to a nurse practitioner, geriatric psychiatry. It's her specialist. She said, honey, your mama's got an easy fix. She put her on trazodone. And trazodone helped my mama 50%. That's just the number we'll put on it. But still not where I wanted mama to be. And after about 5 or 6 weeks, she said, okay, I really think your mom needs to try risperidone. It's also called Risperidol. It comes with a black box warning. Y'all know not to read all that stuff, right?
Yes.
Oh, mercy. But I knew that the quality of life my mama had right then was none. If I can put her on Risperidol or Risperidone, whichever you want to call it, and it brings a quality of life for X amount of time, and she passes because she took it, then it's just going to be like that because Mama's dying anyway. And Mama quit hallucinating. Her pain went down so that I only heard her complain about her hip maybe twice from October till she passed away two weeks ago. She quit praying and asking to die. So it's, you weigh it. Yes, in the back, Bill.
How the caregiver. Dad's father was 56 when he couldn't find his way home.
Who is Pat? Oh, my vegan cooker. I didn't realize y'all were together. I love that woman. Go ahead, Bill.
We've never heard of the word Alzheimer's.
Yeah.
That was 1975, somewhere around in there. And he lived 9 years. She had a very short life after he passed away. It seemed like she had been a very healthy person. But I just felt like being a caregiver had helped to shorten her life.
Caregivers, 40% of Alzheimer's caregivers pass away before their loved one with dementia. Did you get that? That's why Trinity United Methodist is doing what they're doing. Yeah, we want to educate you on how to take care of your folks with dementia. We got to take care of you. You know, when you're on the airplane, who do they tell you to put that mask on first should it fall? Yourself, so that you can, it's the same thing. You've got to take care of yourself. You've got to allow time to go outside and scream. Yell at God. He's big, he can take it. He don't mind. You got to allow time to go and take a nap. You may have to go somewhere else to do it, but a place you can go and relax. You got to allow time to go to the doctor, because we don't want you to die. Go get your hair done. Go do something. And that's where the church can come in to allow you to have that time to take care of the caregiver. We will be holding our very first Vera's Caregiver Retreat on October 5th. And it is going to be a group of 10 people that have been being chosen that are active caregivers. And we're going to pamper the doo-doo out of those women that day.
I want to sign up.
You want to sign up? I do too. I'm planning it. I'd like to be one of them. Just because we realize these folks are just slap worn out. Karen, it's huge. Offering, don't call and tell the wife, don't call and tell, I'm sorry, Dorothy, what can I do for you? Dorothy's a Southern woman. She goes, I'm fine. She's not. Dorothy, tomorrow I've got 3 to 5 or 10 to 2. Which do you want to be gone? 9 to 9. Dorothy, you a pushy little broad, aren't you? Just tell them, Dorothy, I know that you're vegan. I'm bringing dinner tomorrow. Not, do you want me to bring dinner? Because she's going to tell you, no. Just do it. And I'm like, Nike. Isn't that Nike? That's my new motto, Carol. Just do it. Other questions? Yes, Joan.
Sometimes you hear strategies, to, put off dementia.
Yeah, what can we do to prevent dementia? Anything that's good for the heart's good for the brain. So if you're not taking care of your heart, get busy on that. If your blood pressure is high, your cholesterol's high, if your sugar's off, these are things you can do something about to some degree, unless you're Mr. Howell in the back of the room, who the man does not eat meat. We've quit eating cheese. He's closer to being a vegan than he wants to be. There is nothing worth a doo-doo to eat in my house. I mean, you don't crave to go to the pantry and eat something. We ain't got nothing good in it. You don't sit there and go, well, I think I'll just go get me a big old chunk of cauliflower. You just sit there and think, if only we had some M&Ms. So eating right and all those things that are good for you are important. Keeping a check on your blood, your levels. Is your vitamin B good? Is your vitamin D? All those kinds of things. Using your brain. Everybody says, oh, you do the crossword puzzle every day. Well, yeah, but if you're good at doing the crossword puzzle, it's not building any synapses in your brain. It's fun, do it. If you're not good at doing the crossword puzzle, that's the person who needs to be doing the crossword puzzle because they're working at it. Learning a foreign language or learning to play an instrument that you know nothing about is the best way to build brain matter. You can build brain matter because there's nothing. Okay, Susan, I want you to speak one word of Chinese. Is that Chinese? I don't either. Chow mein. That's all Susan knows. So anything that she learns is going to be new, and we want to do that. Those things and exercising, walking, moving. It's good for grief as the caregiver to get out and walk, to experience the sun coming up, and you as the caregiver who does not have sundowning to experience the sun going down, fights depression. Just a few tips there. Yeah. got videos about that on the website. Yes, you are. Melinda.
I have a question. I've seen, of course, on Facebook, everything's on there.
Yeah.
They said that they may be a medication that can help with Alzheimer's and stuff. Do you see a breakthrough for people with dementia and Alzheimer's with medication to cure?
The medications, no. The medications that are on the market, Namenda, Aricept, Exelon, all those medications are not for Alzheimer's. They are to slow the symptoms, which that's dementia. But the disease causing the dementia does nothing for it. It works no better than the M&Ms, but it does help with the dementia. But there's the big news right now is there's going to be a vaccine that, is it Mexico, Michael, they're doing? University of Mexico? Yeah, University of New Mexico.
It was New Mexico.
Is it New Mexico? Yeah, they've come up with this vaccine that they tested little on rats. You know, they gave the rats the grocery list. So they remember it. And it removed tau, T-A-U, from the brain. And with Alzheimer's, we have tau, T-A-U, in the brain, and we have beta amyloid plaque. It's the two things that we see in the brain of folks with Alzheimer's that we don't see in other folks. So there was a medicine quite some time ago that did help to deplete tau in the brain, and Alzheimer's got worse. So I don't know, that's weird. And this vaccine is supposed to keep tau from building in the brain, and it's worked on the rats. Who knows if it'll even get to the testing stage for humans, and who knows what it'll do. But every time they've come this close to finding some kind of medication that's going to work, it fails. There's yet to be one. So, yes, Bob.
I was told I do not have Alzheimer's. I was told I do have dementia. What is the difference?
The difference is dementia is the inability to think clearly that affects your life. The Alzheimer's or whatever is causing the dementia is what you need to know. You need to be seeing a neuropsychologist. We can give you the name of 2 in Charlotte we recommend to find out why you have dementia. You've got to know this.
I think so clearly that I can write beautiful poetry today.
That part of the brain.
And
That part of the brain.
I'm a designer, and that's the same part of the brain. Is that it?
Yep, for artsy fartsy, Bob. That's going to work for you. And that's what you need to concentrate on. Don't worry about the grocery list because you're not going to get it straight. Spark that part of the brain that works. His wife said, amen. Yes, Judy.
About, you've read all your life about left brain.
Left brain, right brain.
Right brain dominant. Have there been studies done to show whether either or the other is more prone to a dementia or Alzheimer's?
I don't know.
Situation?
Is the left brain person or the right brain person more likely to have dementia, especially Alzheimer's type dementia, than the other? I don't know. That's a good question. Google it.
Again, I said my friend is the smartest person I've known. And again, it was somewhere, maybe Facebook, I got that idea that if the smarter people are more likely to develop.
No, that's not true.
Okay,
That's not true.
that's just
I know some really dumb people with Alzheimer's. Do you? I know some really. I mean, if you realize that the more you know, the tighter the brain tissue, the more synapses. Synapses get very, very tight. The more of them you have, and the more of them you have, if we're going to start destroying synapses, we want to have a bunch of them. And the more synapses you gain will come from the things that you learned to do that you didn't know how to do. The smarter you are. Ronald Reagan, President of the United States, we would think he had a whole bunch of dang synapses. What did he die of? Glenn Campbell, the right temporal lobe of his brain had to have been pretty daggone healthy. Very prolific in his music. What did he die of? Norman Rockwell, Alzheimer's. Yeah. Mr. Scotty from Star Trek. Beam me up, Mr. Scotty. Y'all remember that? Alzheimer's. Gene Wilder. So, yeah. Other questions, comments, concerns? Yes, Steve.
Coffee drinkers
Coffee drinkers.
associated with less risk for Alzheimer's, or is that just a theory?
Yeah. You know, they say a certain amount of coffee a day is good for you, a certain amount of wine a day is good for your heart. I think that's going to depend on you. I can tell you if I have more than 1 cup of coffee in a week, I will have a migraine. It's not going to help me a bit. I have an ulcer, so wine's not my friend. I don't know. But you do want to eat healthy. You know, I think drinking a lot of caffeine a day is not good. But what we do know, and you're going to hate me for this one, is diet sodas are killing us. People who drink diet sodas don't lose weight. People who drink diet sodas have a 60-some% chance increase of, get this, diabetes. Is diabetes, does that cause dementia? Yes, it does. Does diabetes increase your chances of Alzheimer's? Yes, it does. Should you drink diet drinks? No, you're actually better off drinking the sugar drinks, but then sugar drinks cause inflammation, and there's a direct correlation between inflammation and Alzheimer's. So just don't drink none of it. Amen. Beth. Forgot her question. Robert.
Well, I need to get information about dementia.
Yeah, I'm your girl.
I'm diagnosed with dementia.
Don't know what kind.
And I don't know what kind. I've gone to the
A neuropsych, who'd you see?
and
Okay.
he says that it was dementia, and that I needed to go to Charlotte to get a complete
Yes, you do.
diagnosis.
Yes, you do. Did he recommend you a
The problem
doctor?
is, and I think it's with several other people, if you have insurance, and I do it, it's good insurance.
Uh-huh.
But I was told by the people in Charlotte, your insurance probably won't cover all of the testing.
I've never heard that, but
And, they were talking about $4,000 or $5,000
yeah.
that I would.
Well, heck, you can't step in a doctor's office for a minute.
I can't do that.
Robert, I think you need to call your have them call your insurance company and make sure. I've never heard that. It's part of a diagnosis process.
And until I get a different
Yeah.
diagnosis, I don't.
So, Michael, when you come up to the table, Michael can give you Dr. Bellori. He runs Alzheimer's Memory Center in Charlotte. He endorsed my book, and he can help you. And Dr. Edwards also. I don't have Dr. Edwards' phone number, but I got Dr. Bellori's. Yes, David.
What about CBD oil?
CBD oil, love that stuff. Took it this morning. CBD oil, I don't know that there's been a direct study of CBD oil with Alzheimer's, but there has been a study of CBD oil with Parkinson's, and it does seem to help reduce tremors. Some with folks with Parkinson's. It did not help my mom's Parkinson's at all. I will tell you that. But what CBD oil does is it helps to knock the edge off. You're just a little calmer. Mr. Howell will vouch for this because I sort of kind of run out of it when we were in Florida. And I use a liquid, and I recommend the company called Straight Hemp. I do not get anything from them for telling y'all that. Straight Hemp. And the junk ain't cheap. It's just not. And so I was out of it, and I said, I just don't feel good. And I said, I've not had my CBD oil in about 3 days. He goes, oh, honey, hush. Turns around, runs in. He goes, that's a Michael. This little bottle's like $55. He goes, oh, babe, you need it. He's back there going. And where'd you go over here? During the last so many weeks of my mom's life, I was taking it morning and night, a dropper full of liquid. So, yeah. I'm not high strung. No, I'm not. Yes, Mark.
Well, it's time.
It's time. Mark said, shut up, Carol. Mark, thank y'all very much. If you have more questions, I'll be here. You can ask them. Thank you.
What I'd like to do right now, we got a couple of people that are going to pass out. Be patient with us because we need this information. Carol did this information, but they're going to pass out some bags and some pens if you don't have one. And while they're doing that, what I'd like to do is give out some door prizes. And let's see, we're going to start with good.